Hi, I'm Dan here. My ID number is IT218348006. In this video, I will demonstrate two important fixes I implemented in our project to address OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, which is security misconfiguration and identification and authentication failure. Let's begin with identification and authentication failure. Originally, our system allowed weak password and compared them directly in plain text, which is made it vulnerable to brute force and credential theft. To fix this, I uh, first applied strong password validation using Joy. As you can see here, uh, I used a regex rule that enforces at least 8 characters with one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, one special character. Um, this ensures that users cannot set simple or guessable passwords. Next, instead of storing plain text, I implement decrypt hashing. Um, in here, you can see it. This line of code securely hashes the password before saving it into the database. One login, uh, on login, I use decrypt compare to validate password against strong hashing. In here, it is compare the hash password which is in database. And finally, I handled error responses instead of revealing whether the email or password was wrong. I returned the generic message invalid email or password in here. This prevents attackers from enumerating usernames. Now let's look at security misconfiguration. Our app originally had missing headers, overly permissive calls, and no request size limit, which exposed it to clickjacking and data leakage and denial of service attacks. To fix this, I added helmet middleware in here. This automatically sets secure HTTP headers like explain options and certain security policy protecting against clickjacking and header-based attacks. I also configured host properly. Instead of allowing all origins with a wildcard, I restricted access only to trust domains specified in environment variable. In here, you can see this is the front-end URL in a .env file, environment variable file. Um, this prevents unauthorized domain from calling our APIs. To protect server resources, I introduce request body size limit using ExpressJS and URL encoded passes. I kept request at 10 kilobyte. This code is snippet. This block attacks from sending extremely large payloads that could crash the server. Finally, I added global error handler in here. In production, it hides stack trace and show only user-friendly messages. While in development, it still provides details debugging. This prevents sensitive system details from leaking.
Hello, I am Avishkar. My IT number is IT218333816. And in this video, I will explain two security fixes I added to our project to address OSAP top 10 vulnerabilities, rate limiting and HTTP parameter pollution protection. When we talk about rate limiting, originally our system did not restrict how many requests a user could send. This left us vulnerable to brute force and those attacks, where an attacker could overload the server with thousands of requests. To fix this, I use Express Rate Limit middleware. As you can see in here, in this code I use this, and this means each IP can send only make 100 requests in every 15 in production. If they go over, they got blocked with an error message. I also added a special limit for authentication route, as you can see here. And in here, each user can only try to log in 5 times in 15 minutes. This prevents to brute force password guessing by adding rate limiting. I made sure attackers cannot overall or absorb our system with unlimited requests. And talk about HTTP parameter pollution. Uh, Without protection, attackers could send multiple values for the same query parameters, which might confuse the server and cause unexpected behavior or even bypass access control. To fix this, I use the HTTP middleware. Here's the code for that. And here, this remove duplicate parameters from requests. I expect for the ones I specially allowed in the whitelist. And for the example, filter and show parameters are allowed to have multiple values because our app needs them. And but also all other are cleaned. This ensures attackers cannot pollute parameters to trick the server into returning unauthorized data or bypassing the logic. With HPP protection, our query handling is now secure and predictable. In summary, I implement rate limiting to protect against brute force and DOS attacks, and HTTP parameter pollution protection to prevent malicious query manipulation. This fix strengthens our protection against common OSAP vulnerabilities and make it more secure and real for real users. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dimisha Vijayaratna and my ID number is IT2183336. In this video, I'll walk you through two important fixes I made in our project to address OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. First one is vulnerable and outdated components, and the second one is security login and monitoring failures. Let's start with the first one, vulnerable and outdated components. In our project, we were running an older version of MongoDB driver. The problem with outdated dependencies is that they often contain security holes that attackers already know how to exploit. To address this, I updated the MongoDB driver to the latest stable release. This way, we were covered with the most recent security patches and improvements. You can see here our newly updated dependencies all there. Yeah, and I also update the connection syntax to match the new driver requirement. The updated syntax gives us better connection handling and improve error management compared to the all deprecated methods. So these are the newly updated syntax for a DB driver. In shortly says, keeping our dependencies up to date ensure we don't leave the door open for attackers who might take advantage of the known vulnerabilities in order libraries. Now moving on to the second parts, security login and monitoring failures. Before the fix, our system had the major weakness, unhandled crashes. If something unexpected happened, the application could simply stop running and we wouldn't even know what went wrong. That means serious issue could be unnoticed, which is big risk. To fix this, I added the proper error handling for the scenarios. Specifically, I used the global process event listener. This is like this for things like unquote, unexpected, and unhandled promise rejections. With these plays, the system now catches unexpected errors, log them, and either shut down safely or recovers gracefully. This means every critical issue gets recorded, so we can trace problems, spot unusual activity, and respond quickly. More importantly, it prevents the application from silently falling in the background. With these improvements, this and this, uh, our project is now more resilient, easier to monitor, and the better protected against hidden security risks. So that's the end of my part. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pasan Fernando and my IT numbers is IT21835278, and today I will demonstrate the two important fixes in the implemented in the our project and address the OWASP, the top of the 10 vulnerabilities, and the OAuth on implementation and insecure design. And first of all, I will show you the how to OAuth implementation work on this project, and I am choosing the my Google account and logging using the account, and I'm using for this authentication for the React or Google, and this is my function, and this is my API call for backend, and this is the backend function, and I'm using for this for the create the JWT token to send the front end because the track the user activities and authenticate the users after processes. And in the insecure design, I am encrypted the passing data to the backend and decrypt the data and the validate. And first of all, I will show you to how to work on this one. And I am using login the pasan1gmail.com using this password. And this is the encrypted data, and this is the pasan1@gmail.com, and I'm using for this one for the crypto.js, and this is the function for the encrypt the data. I'm using the same secret key for the encrypt and decrypt in the backend. This is a I'm using this middleware for the decrypt the passing data and login the users, and I'm using the schemas for the validate the passing data and the email for the string email, and it should be required, and the password should be string and the required, and we can prevent the some insecure data passing using this one. Thank you.